not going to be for the entire college. So after this, I expect each and every participant hence will receive those emails. There's a form that you'll access them. Then you authenticate the whole thing, then you give feedback to the university. Thank you for your time. Now I think we can start. This is the University of Victoria presentation for Mr. I.M. Madala. The introduction of my strategic planning. We look at South Africa as it continues to experience the persistent electricity shortages, which threatens the economy and stability and community development. I have taken that from the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. So we are looking at here Ugu. Within Ugu district, there is crisis that highlights an urgent need for alternative energy solutions and skills force capable for supporting the transition. Looking at the crisis that we normally experience in our communities of the load shedding, it indicates that now we have a problem with electricity. So now I have based my studies on coming up with a solution to this, which is the introduction of renewable energy. In response to this crisis, the Nyenyezi campus has adopted a strategy to introduce a renewable energy training in solar PV, sort of photovoltaic, using the German dual approach to vocational education. So, rationale of my study looks at the challenges within Ugu. Ugu district is facing a challenge such as high unemployment rate in youth. There is poverty in our communities, energy crises and shortages. Through consultations, the findings has indicated that from local communities as well as municipality and industry, it reveals the need for professional solar photovoltaic technicians as a solution to the current power disruptions. What are my strategic goals then? The strategic goals here is to make a campus, this campus which is a Nyenyezi, a hub for a solar PV in dual system addressing a local labor need to combat unemployment, poverty, and national energy security. Part of this, we are here looking at the crisis. We want to resolve the crisis that we have by bringing something that will be a solution. Over and above that, we're imparting skills to our youth for them to be able to install these solar panels to our communities in order for this solution to work. Then we look at the vision and mission of the campus there. The vision here will be to be a leading center of excellence in engineering education. This campus, which is a Nyenyezi, will pioneer solar PV in dual training, setting a benchmark within the college. Why are we doing this the dual approach? The dual approach is a German system that is used in TVET colleges, whereby you find that when students are at the college, they also get exposure to industries. Then they rotate. So the content that is being taught in class is also aligned with what is happening in industry. So we are trying to do that also in South Africa to make sure with whatever skill that we are imparting in our learners, it's relevant to the industry. Reducing this unemployment rate. We'll understand that the new programs that we are introducing on the educational program says you must now guarantee a placement for our students. So the placement should be in industry, and that industry should be an industry that is relevant to what we are offering. Then the mission of this will be to deliver an aligned industry training in dual system, achieving this by involving the employer in the curriculum delivery. So when we develop the curriculum that is going to be taught in class, we should now work together with our industries. Even our simulated workshops should have machinery that is relevant to what is happening outside. So now, the means to this, we are going to develop a competent graduates, practical exposure increasing employability that has taken from Brewer on 2013. Brewer is one of the scholars that has been looking at this. So he said in his quote, the practical exposure to our learners will increase the employability because whatever we are offering will be in line to what is happening in industry. The current offering that we are doing has created a problem for us and for communities whereby we find that our students, and most of them have graduated but they are not employed. So as a way of making sure that we make sure we reduce that, we might then be able, make them to be able to start their own job by the skill that we are going to impart, not only to depend on being employed, but the skill that we are going to give them must also give them living, whereby if there's no employment, they can start their own business by installing these solar panels to communities. In partnering with industry, we will increase the number of partnerships. So as a campus, we need now to go to industries, get as many partners as we can from industries that are going to partner with us, so that all our students will be able to get this work exposure. That was our vision and mission of this study. Looking at this in the African continent in South Africa, according to the white paper on the post-school education and training, the purpose of which the TVET colleges were established was to equip South African youth with relevant skills, knowledge, and attitude that is necessary for employment opportunities. But now when you look currently, we are not doing this. Our curriculum is not aligned with what is happening. That is why we have here unemployment. That is why now we need to venture into a new way of teaching, which is venturing into occupational programs. The TVET curriculum is expected to respond to a number of economic, social, and environmental nature by helping youth people to develop their skills needed for employment, entrepreneurship, promote equity, inclusivity, and sustainable economic growth, and support the transforming to green economic and environmental endurances. The performance of TVET colleges are mostly dependent on its alignment and responsiveness to the economic needs of the country. After a number of years since TVETs were introduced in the African education system, little has been done to achieve this. That is the reason now there is curriculum redress. That is the reason now why are we phasing out these report management projects, because they are not assisting. Instead, they are increasing into this problem that we are having in our communities. The socio-political factors and impacts. The socio-political factors plays a crucial role in shaping how the college or the campus operates. And the biggest challenge is the government policy on funding. When funding is inconsistent or low, it directly affects the quality of teaching and resources available to both staff and students. There is also a political interference in management of TVET colleges, including in appointments and administrative decisions, also leading to instability and inefficiency. Our political parties, they also play a role in making sure that sometimes our colleges are not performing well, because like when you advertise our posts in the management position, you find that there is interference of unions whereby they want their own people, leaving people with skills who are going to take the college forward. That interference, it hinders the purpose of which whatever we intend to be doing, it ends up not happening. Like for instance, we find that at the head office, they employ someone from basic education to run the curriculum for TVET colleges, of which that person will also need to be now trained by someone who has been in the system. Instead of appointing that system, appoint someone else to be trained by this person. Then those interferences are also affecting. Social inequalities is also a major issue in this. Many students come from disadvantaged communities and they struggle to afford transport, meals, or even basic study materials. Powell, in his study at McGrath in 2014, they have emphasized how the socio-economic factors limit access to education and impact students successfully. The issues of funding in colleges is limited to cater the demand that is outside there. That is why you find that during registration you are given numbers for students to take, of which the demand is more than that. Which then say that also affects this access to our students. So whatever we want to do, but it will have an impact, but it's not going to be much. It's going to be a limited impact. The educational landscape. NNS campus currently lacks flexible and adaptable training programs that aligns with evolving demands of labor markets. Therefore, it is essential for institutions to decide and introduce new courses in the emerging areas such as renewable energy, cybersecurity, digital literacy, as well as electrician that we currently offering. So now we are moving towards the right direction with this phasing out and phasing in of educational programs. The International Renewable Energy Agency has emphasized that as the world shifts towards sustainable energy, there is an increasing need for the workforce skills in renewable energies and technologies, making it crucial for educational institutions to develop and offer appropriate training programs. International trends. The global trends in technical vocational education and training reveals an increased focus on cultivating workforce that possesses the digital skills and competencies essential for the success in today's technology driven by the workplace. Currently, there are issues of robotics that are taking place, reducing manual labor, also impacting on the unemployment, because it then say those workforce that is out there that has a physical skill, now they need also to be embedded with new skills that align with the technologies of today for them to function. Because now if they become irrelevant, then let's say there will be more retrenchments. So now, in order for us not to be acting in such programs, but we need to come up with a solution to that. And also partner with these industries. Give them experiential learning that is relevant to what they are doing there. That is why we put now is about cybersecurity, not cybersecurity, robotics. So that we give exposure to these labors that are at work to gain the skill that is needed currently in our day. The shift reflects a growing recognition that digital literacy and technology adaptability are critical for employability and economic growth in the arena of the fourth industrial revolution. Nyenyezi campus needs to adapt to a global perspective and remain responsive to the changing demands of the industry and society. Currently, we've got a number of students on the Port Vanema, of which we know exactly what these students, when they go out there, chances of getting employment are very little. Municipal offices, government institutions, even private sector cannot absorb all of them, looking at the number of colleges that we have in South Africa. So now, to reduce that, let's do away with these programs, then introduce these relevant programs. Then now we move into the campus environment. The Nyenyezi campus is in the south coast of KwaZulu-Natal in Koboyi location, offering a wide range of programs from engineering studies, NCV and native, N426, business studies, the Port Vanema native, NCV, and also occupational skills program accredited by QTC. The campus has a very strong culture of collaborations among employees and team. There are many challenges as part of the college environment, and for the college to fulfill its mandate of providing quality and effective teaching and learning. The college will require to invest in a modern infrastructure, facilities to support the innovative teaching and learning. It then says the infrastructure that we have, we must also go and visit and check whether is it responsive now to what we are offering. If not, if that's the case, then we need to make sure that our infrastructure is ready to make sure that we are ready to offer these infrastructural, these new programs or professional programs. There are many challenges that colleges face when developing their strategic plan. The research findings by Todd, who with Sink as well as Chihuahua in 2022, found that centralized management system has a negative impact on the administration of colleges, and this resulted in an ineffective management practices. This directly affects the implementation of strategic plans at the college. Things are dictated at the central office level. There are things that we want as a campus, of which when you request those things, they get sabotaged because they don't see this picture that you see. So you end up not fulfilling your mandate. You end up not performing the way you're supposed to be performing. So decentralized thing does not assist. We need to decentralize powers to campuses so that we'll be able to fulfill the mandate of changing our curriculum. This dual system of vocational education and training. The dual vocational education model is highly regarded internationally and has been adopted in several countries such as Germany, Switzerland, Australia, Netherlands. These countries possess a well-established tradition in vocational education and training and have conducted extensive research assessing the effectiveness of the system. When we even check our graduates from those countries, there is very low unemployment rate, if it's not zero, especially from students that are coming from Tibet. Because they've been in this for quite a long time, whereby students they rotate between industry and the campus. So the moment that the student leaves the campus, already the job is guaranteed because of the training that has been there. We produce currently students that still need to be trained when they are in the industry, which then create another expense for an industry. Instead of producing start training results to their relevant. So to do away with that, let's now introduce this dual approach system in vocational education. Within the South African Tibet context, the dual training model carries an important implication as it seeks to close the disconnections between education and labor market by providing students with both theoretical components and practical competencies that meets the industry requirements according to Hassler 2020. Skills development in Germany is closely linked to dual apprenticeship training system. Implementing a dual system in South African Tibet colleges can contribute to reducing unemployment rates, fostering economic growth, and addressing the skills shortages in various sectors. Then here we look at our strength analysis. The strengths. On campus, we've got experienced, highly qualified lecturers. Workshops, we've got workshops for practical skills. We've got strong partnership with local industries for internships and job placements. There's high student satisfaction and retention, and a diverse range of technical and vocational programs that we offer. These are our strengths, which then say we will be ready now to make sure that when we enroll this, definitely we are going to produce because of the staff that we have on campus that is well trained on this. The weaknesses include the insufficient funding and for infrastructural upgrades and the equipment maintenance. Outdated curriculum and teaching methods. Currently, we're supposed to be moving to digitalization, of which there is very little of them that we implement in our class. Our class is supposed to be like this, whereby as a lecturer you need to be seated, project whatever they will do, but little is being done on that. Even our computer labs, they don't have these things. It's something that we need to venture into. Much as they do have AMA projectors, but this will be more convenient to have kind of technology now in our sectors, in our classrooms. There's a challenge in staff development and training. Little is being done. Currently the focus is only on engineering, of which is supposed now also to be enrolling this to business studies. But none of the business studies, if not two, that have been currently trained. The rest are not trained. We then say this is forming part of our weaknesses which we need to be improved on. and the lack of support from SCN. We request things, sometimes they get returned, sometimes they deliver late after what you've ordered them for already passed. I sense issues. You know the frustrations that are there. The opportunities, there is a growing demand for technical and vocational skills in the job market. You would see during registration now, even as students are flocking into TVETs because TVETs now are aligning themselves to it. You see? There's an opportunity now to produce skills that are ready, students that have got skills ready for job employment. So reducing unemployment. And they can also venture into entrepreneurship, starting their own businesses. Potential partnership with tech companies on renewable energy, skills development, and also increase the job opportunity for skills-ready graduates. Threats. Competition from other campuses offering similar programs. We find that there are campuses that are far advanced, or colleges far advanced with this. So now they've made their name, they are well known outside. So now you may find that students will be flocking into that one, then we become the second choice because of the enrollment, of the enrolling of this program that we have not started as yet. We're working towards that. Economic fluctuations affecting funding of student enrollment. Any first issues, we understand all these frustrations. Legislative changes impacting accreditation and curriculum requirements. You know, programs that we see which we can venture into, but they are not currently funded. So we then rely on government to make sure those programs are being funded. Those are threats. Now we look at the SMART goals, the action plan. The first step will be to partner. It's partnership developments. Secure MOUs with solar firms and electricians, of which something that we've started. We have secured some of the MOUs, which then say we'll be able now to enroll this program. Curriculum alignments. Ensuring that dual training meets the QTCO standards. How can we meet that? By having ready workshops, ready human resource, have industry that is willing to do what? To take our students for industry exposure. Lecturer training, send lecturers for industry exposure to align with the HUT lecturer capacity strategy, the HUT of 2018, the strategy from 2028, of which the campus within a site is leading towards that. We've got a number of lecturers that are currently qualified, and we're still sending more, so that we'll have enough pool of lecturers who can enroll these new programs that we're planning to enroll. The pilot program of this is supposed to start in 2026. Training almost 30 students, first enrollment, with real placements to industry. Those 30 students that are going to be enrolling, we must make sure that by the time we enroll them, they are industry ready for those students. When we take them out of industry next year, it then says the campus, we still need to work hard in making sure that we secure ID. Let's not limit this to locals. We can even go to Joburg, Devon, because our scope in Southport is very limited on this, but we need to expand. This shall be an initiative to every lecturer who's got connections who can assist in making sure that we secure a number of MOUs. We've got Mr. One who's got also exposed in these things, who are assisting in terms of placements. We also review the scaling in 2027 to check exactly as to what are we doing. Is it in line with what QCTO wants in terms of meeting standards? The action plan. The activity, partnership developments and infrastructural development. Partnerships and development, we need to have signed MOU, of which we do have some. Responsible person then should be a campus manager will office that is responsible for securing our MOUs. This should be by January to June 2026. Infrastructural development and acquisitions. Workshop simulations and equipment. This is ongoing because currently we are receiving equipment for this solar workshop. Campus manager working with Campus management working with SCM, Deputy Principal Finance and Infrastructure Manager to make sure that the workshops are ready by July 2026 and 2027. Hence the enrollment we anticipate it to be next year by August. The lecturer training of lecturer and staff to qualify as citizen, this has already happened. We do have lecturers qualified. Some are still undergoing training, they are about to complete. Campus manager with an HOD and HRD by October 2025 and June 2026. Curriculum or restructuring QCTO accreditations. By next year we must make sure the accreditation is secured for us to enroll the program. Pilot program that will be next year with 10 students at one go, considering the number of workshops that we have. But students can rotate. You know that if you take 30, that's a 2 group of students. Because at the workshop is 15. Once others are busy at the workshop, others also will be in class. So we'll be able to enroll this project with the infrastructure that we have. Review and rescaling of this, the scaling of it, full implementation of the curriculum, and all campus staff members to be involved with it by January 2027. Everyone must be ready to be rolling out the QCTO. Value proportion, business canvas. The key partners for this to happen: suppliers, industry, and partners, industry partners within Ugu District, QCTO, DHT, ESCOM, CITAS, companies offering solar PV. Key activity will be delivery of theory within the campus, placement of students in industry, curriculum alignments by QCTO, accreditations, assessment through each dual approach system, and also the capacity building must always take place. Student work placement, we must make sure students are always placed. Employment job ready technicians reduces training costs. So when they are there in the industry, there will be no other cost involved to the employer to train staff, because our students will be ready to go there and be producing. The key resources: trained lecturers and industry mentors, workshop simulation labs, solar PV equipment, funding dependent on CETA, DHT, and other partners. Channels, campus training workshops, workplace training, and online trainings also need to take place. Customers are our students in industry. Our primary customers are students from Ugu seeking to be trained on solar PV. Industries on solar that will be partnering with are secondary, and tertiary its local communities and municipalities needing electricians. After then they are ready now, they will receive students that are ready to enroll whatever they need in terms of doing this, the rollout, to have us artisans that are ready for solar PV as a solution to this energy crisis. Human resource. The campus has qualified staff that are ready to enroll the program, and students that we have to be taught by these lecturers. To increase the number of qualified staff on solar PV and ongoing training that must take place. Increase staff capacity through industry placements for industry relevance. Once these lecturers are trained, themselves also they need to go to industry for exposure so that they will gain these skills that are needed to give these relevant skills to students when they are in class, so that there is no disconnections. Everything is aligned. Like to conduct also a skills audit on our existing staff in terms of their qualifications and to channel them according to their skills. Then implementing capacity building now and again as a way of motivating our staff. The budget. Budgeted items in terms of description, we need staff training. An amount of 1 million is estimated for staff training. Acquisition date, it's an ongoing process. Workshops on solar PV need 1.8 to make sure which our solar equipment, our solar workshop is ready for this. By January to July 2025, we do have a workshop right now for solar, and we have seen equipment coming in. Solar workshop equipment, we estimated 4.5 M to make sure that we fully equipped workshop with relevant equipment. We need about 4 million to enroll this project. And this is to take place between July and December 2025 for us to be ready by next year. Solar farm. We need to set up a solar farm outside the workshop with 3 structures for training our students in different roofs so that they see how the solar performs. That also will be needed. The amount needed there is almost 900,000 for these roofs. Between July and December 2025. We have already applied for this, which I believe maybe by December we have started to do this process. Solar farm fencing, it needs to be protected. Once we establish this, we need to fence it around for protecting it from these guys who are always willing to take whatever it is on the campus for their own benefits. Solar farm fencing is 100,000 between November and December after solar has been set out. Risk assessment. The risk description here is electricity on load shedding. As we enroll the program, we roll out the program, you find that the likelihood of having an impact is very high on this. The impact is very high because there's load shedding. Our electricity is unstable. Then we need to have a mitigating factor. The mitigating factor there will be the campus has already industrial generator as a backup to the electricity shortages or cut or outage. Fire. How are the chances of having fire on campus? They're very low. But the impact should happen is very high. So how can we reduce this as a mitigating factor? By the installation of fire hoses. The theft of our equipment is medium. Then it will have a high impact should we lose these things. We need to install AMA CCTV cameras and make sure that we intensify our security around that solar farm. Shortage of money for maintaining solar farm. It's also medium. Because sometimes it becomes limited, sometimes we have enough. So it then says as a campus now we need to venture into a debt stream income to beef up our finances. Then the impact there is very high. Secure additional funding from partners. Then lastly is security. Likelihood is very high. Impact high. We need to fence around our solar farm. Then this takes us down to the conclusion of my presentation. The dual approach has a significant impact on students. They graduate with strong employability skills. The employer will benefit from already skilled workforce, and the broader community will gain a sustainable energy solution that supports our local development. Moreover, the dual training model aligns closely with campus vision of becoming a center of excellence and its mission of producing industry-aligned, competent graduates. Through the dual approach, my campus, which is the NEA, will not only train technicians but also empower a generation of change agents within our district, KwaZulu-Natal, and also South African as a whole. That's the end of my presentation. And then it's the time for discussion and questions should there be any.
Greetings, colleagues. At the beginning of the presentation, Mr. Mandala, you spoke about empowering you emphasized on the point of empowering local labor how are we going to identify, or what criterion are we going to use to identify the people that are going to be suitable for this particular program within the community?
Firstly, it then say within our, when we do our enrollments, we first check as to, from the pool of applicants, where are our students coming from? Those applicants, where are they coming from? Then from there, we prioritize our locals. Then, should we not meet the required number of students to be enrolled, then that is when now we expand to other regions and also other provinces.
Okay, a follow-up.
Yes.
Does that not this speak to us having to now create some sort of awareness before we start the programs within the community? Will that not assist these programs to be more powerful when we tackle them within the community if we create awareness around these programs at the current moment? What can you be inclusive of the new awareness that needs to be created?
I think what we need to do, firstly, we've got local high schools around. Our point of departure will be to visit and do our awareness campaigns to them. As the campus that is located here, our hands are open to those students to absorb them, to give them these skills that are needed here. Remember, our main focus mostly is to develop our communities around. So now if we if we visit these schools and give our awareness campaigns to them, even during Tibet months, we once did that whereby we combined all of them at the hall whereby awareness was given, and also display the kind of programs that we offer in the campus. Thank you.
No, thanks a lot for the presentation. Mine is too much of a comment than a question. I know. I checked the countries you mentioned that are part of it, like Australia, Switzerland, Netherlands. In Netherlands and Switzerland, as we speak, there is almost 0.08% of unemployment because of their vocational. Now, my biggest worry: how do we mitigate the serious factor of T2Ks in South Africa? Because we've got a new disease of students that are called 2Ks, who literally disregard education. How do we go out and speak sense to these young men who are seated in shops in everywhere, who disregard education to the highest level? Because I think that would be our biggest challenge. I'm actually touching on that because in a college right now, our marketing department is a bit dysfunctional. Unless, as a campus, we are given a leeway to say, campuses go do your own marketing, and as the team, as staff, we are so willing to go out and do our own. Otherwise, with the current situation in marketing and the kind of young people we have in South Africa, we need to do a robust marketing.
Our first approach on this is to deal with the stigma that has been given to Tibets. To say Tibet is only for those underperforming students. That's what has discouraged students from enrolling with us. So now how do we do that? By doing awareness. By doing those, by also doing e-marketing that we just touched on. Let us not now rely on central office, because with them understaffed as they are, they won't be able to achieve whatever the campus vision has. We need to take this on our own, have our own marketing teams wherein we'll go out to make sure that we will reach out to as many communities as we can.
No.
Yes, ma'am. Or are you missing us first?
We talked about the MOUs and the stakeholders, which are the industries.
Yes.
There's always a problem in the South Coast mostly, and the industry around us in understanding what the college can produce for them, and understanding the link that we have to create between us and the industries. My question is, how are we going to bring the industries in to understand and get a buy-in on what we are doing. Because the more we get industries in, even if we don't sign MOUs with all of them, but we will have more workplaces for the students, so that we don't take a large number of students, and when it's time to put them for workplaces, then we are very limited. We've got people that have small companies. The small companies also, I think if they get an understanding of what they can get, like you said, when you said, for them also it can work on the cost side, because they are getting people that they can be able to use without spending lots of money in paying them. How do we get them to come and understand what we are doing?
I think with that, ma'am, we need to organize our events like breakfast meetings. So if we can have a breakfast meeting on campus, identify all the stakeholders, go to the targeting, then invite them in that breakfast meeting wherein the information will be shared. I'm sure, and I'm adamant to say, when we are there in that breakfast meeting and information has been shared, definitely we'll have some of them will be signed. Then awareness has been given to those people. At the same time, we spoke of the employees that are with them who are not currently, or who don't have relevant skills that are going to be required. So they can bring those people along with the campus to train, so that our scope is then expanded. Let this not benefit us only, they must also benefit as industry from us on what we are offering. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask what Ms. Finwell has asked, but I just want to know, with the central office, how far with the memorandum of understanding you can go? Because I remember when they passed, there was a hindrance to find that there are companies who say are willing to come here, but when they go to central office, they can't continue.
At first, ma'am, this thing was decentralized to companies.
Okay.
To say campuses now can go out to reach out to wherever company that they think is relevant to what they are offering and sign our MOUs. But now, there's MOUs after we have secured it. It must be signed by the college principal so that they will see. It's us now as the campus that must go out.
Okay.
But the college must sign only the MOU. So then it then say the scope now is open to everyone to make sure that we are running into programs of securing our MOUs.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd like to thank you for a beautiful presentation. But can I check on what type of learners, what is our target market, like the entry level? They are going to do the solar panel, it's a dual solar panel, whatsoever. So what the requirements are needed from them? And after that, what is the certification that they will get? What is the NQF level certification that they will receive after completing both the learning and the practical?
It's the curriculum document that is going to give us a proper information as far as the requirements for enrollment for the students. So we cannot thumbs up and say we need students with matric. But what I know, it could be someone with maths, and we cannot compromise on it. Because at some point we have this tendency of wanting to enroll our relatives, of which you find that the person I want to enroll in the program is going to be a problem to these lecturers who are teaching. Ours will to make sure that speak by what the policy by curriculum documents as to what kind of students that we're looking for. But the NPF level should be NPF level 4 and 5 going forward. It depends. There's a full completion of the course, and also there are small modules. So it will depend. Miss, I think you can also add flesh on what Mrs. is asking.
Thank you. I think on that part of the curriculum is the entry level will depend on the curriculum document, but the certification and the throughput out always depend on the level where the learner has studied up to. Some learners can live at NQ level 5, they don't have to continue, they always get certification for that. Some can go up to trade test and do NQ level 6,
Yes.
which will be relevant to degree, almost like a degree. There is a new structure of curriculum certification, there is a new planning on it, on where is it like a diploma, where is it like a degree, and where is it like master's? It's just that I don't have the document in hand, but there is a new document that is there. All the occupational programs, they will be relevant in that similar way. It depends on the person, whether they want to end on the skills or they want to go to have a degree on it and have masters on it.
Thank you.
Last one. We spoke about decentralizing the power of SCN. I think as this meeting, we would actually welcome that idea because it will actually assist. We are dreaming here, Mrs. Monica. We are doing our wish list. So that will also assist. I've been part of the team, the campus management team that goes out to companies and industries and inquire about MOUs. So what you would find when you are sitting with the top management of industries, they would ask you what their benefit is over and above getting the students to train. But you would find that if we would decentralize the SCM processes, it would be better for us to then do a panel recommendation of the same companies that take our students to come and do the solar PV farm. Because if they are the ones that are doing the farm, then they benefit from the recommendation of the panel. I'm not talking about fraud here, but I'm talking about pure recommendation of the panel. If we are involved in the SCM portion of it, then it means that most people would be interested in partnering with us because there would be that particular business transaction that will be happening between the campus, the college, and that particular industry. It's just an idea that you probably can bounce by the management. They can do it and take care of it, but it's something that would attract more industries to want to be part of the college.
Thank you, Ms. for that contribution. Colleagues, this marks the end of our session. Thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you.